What's up, YouTube? It's your favorite person in the world, Jack Harlow's obese cousin, Timu version of Jack Harlow. Some people call me Mick Harlow or well fed Jack Harlow. I've been called a wide array of names pertaining to Jack Harlow. The truth of the matter is, I feel like as I've put on all this weight, I've increasingly looked less and less like Jack Harlow. And it's not about whether I look like Jack Harlow. That's not the important takeaway here. What matters is that, as it stands right now, I am at a dramatically higher probability of contracting deadly preventable diseases as a result of my morbid obesity. I was not always morbidly obese. I can point to a period of time in my life when I was in strong physical shape. I did track and field in high school, lost a lot of weight then. So I've also been heavy multiple times in my life and kind of just put the weight back on. But I've never been as big as I am right now. And what got me to this point, the catalyst for what got me to this point, is that I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. For those who don't know what bipolar disorder is, because there are a lot of stereotypes and there's a lot of stigma surrounding this illness, I've heard all kinds of different stereotypes like everyone has a little bit of bipolar or uh, different things like that. But the truth is, bipolar disorder is a severe brain disorder, and studies show that it affects anywhere from 1 to 2% of the world. That's the amount of people that it affects. It's an incredibly rare condition, and it's something you can have a genetic predisposition to. It's something that can be induced by a combination of genetics and environment. But what it ultimately is a severe brain disorder where you undergo significant mood episodes that affect your ability to function. And these mood episodes consist of depression and mania, or even mixed episodes. And these episodes are highly debilitating in their own unique ways. I have a lot of videos on my channel where I discuss that more in depth. In fact, I have a playlist called Bipolar Breakdown where I document my experiences during a 6 month long manic episode. That's where I had intense energy. I went into psychosis and experienced delusions and hallucinations. And I also document the aftermath of that episode, the consequences of that episode, my recovery from that episode, and I compare where I was to where I'm at today. So if you're interested in that, I would definitely check out that playlist on my channel, Bipolar Breakdown. It's 107 videos strong as of this moment, and people find it informative, people find it inspiring to see how far I've come from a mental standpoint. But the secondary component of my recovery has got to be my physical health. I don't want to be an astronomical amount of weight for the rest of my life. During mania, I actually stayed at a stable weight of 180 pounds for the entire tenure of my mania, despite consuming voluminous amounts of alcohol. And I think part of that is because I had an excess amount of energy, and it wasn't uncommon for me to get anywhere of 30 to 40,000 steps in a day. And I think that kind of offset any calories I was consuming from alcohol. And I also didn't necessarily eat too much. It wasn't my priority. I was too focused on saving the world because of my delusions of grandiosity. I was mentally very sick, and fortunately, I didn't put on weight then. But in the aftermath, when my depression started to develop, when my depression emerged, and the mania subsided, the mania abated, it was then that I started to rapidly accumulate pounds. I went from 180 pounds in March of 2022 to 354 pounds by December of 2023. That is an incredibly short span of time to put on such an incredible amount of weight, such as that. And in December 2023, I made a commitment to try and get some of those pounds off, because at that point in time, my mental recovery was starting to pick up pace, and I was making gradual changes to my routines that bolstered my confidence, that got me outside more. I stopped socially isolating entirely, and I was taking positive steps to put myself back on a positive trajectory. I ended up getting down to 330 pounds relatively quickly, but since then, since getting down to that amount, I've only lost an additional 12 pounds since then. It's now June 2026. It's almost July of 2026. We're at the midpoint of this year. I came into this year at 326 pounds. I believe that's right. And I'm now at 318.8 is what I weighed in at 7 days ago. Now, 7 days ago, I decided to resume my weight loss journey. A month ago, on May 6th, I uploaded a video titled "I'm Morbidly Obese and Giving Up on Weight Loss." And the context of that is that I was getting very disappointed with the numbers reflected on the scale. I felt like it was antithetical to the work ethic that I was exercising, but the reality is that despite my consistent exercise, my kitchen game just wasn't sufficient. I was consuming too many calories, and as a result, it offset any gains that I made as a result of exercise. So I decided to put a pause on weight loss, but I still continue to exercise because I want to extract the mental health benefits from exercise. There's a saying that if you could prescribe the effects of exercise in a bottle, it would be the most effective antidepressant in the world. Exercise is phenomenal, not just for your physical health, but also for your mental health. And both of those things are, of course, intertwined. And that's why I want to put more emphasis on my physical health going forward. These last 7 days, I've done something incredible. I've averaged 14,000 steps per day, about 6.7 miles per day. And I still have a chance to increase that average a little more because I'm not done with the day yet. It's early in the afternoon. I still have plenty of opportunity to increase that average even more. But tomorrow I'm going to do my first weigh-in, well, since my last weigh-in at 318.8, and we're going to see where I'm at. I'm continuing my weight loss journey because I don't want to be at incredibly high risk of contracting deadly preventable diseases. I'm tired of losing breath when I go up flights of stairs. I'm tired of having struggles breathing when I'm laying down in bed. I'm tired of having this physical appearance, this amorphous appearance where my shape and definition, I don't even recognize myself anymore when I look in the mirror. And as Adrian Bryant says, he is a exercise YouTuber. He uploads all kinds of interesting exercises, including ones that you could do from the comfort of your home that you don't need a gym membership for. I used to do a jumping jacks workout from him, and it was incredibly intense, and it actually is super effective at dropping pounds. And one thing he would always say during his videos is, exercise so that you can look good naked. I mean, that's pretty good motivation right there as well. So I mentioned a number of reasons why I want to get the weight off. I want to be healthy physically as well as mentally. I want to look good. I want to recognize myself again. And I don't want to be at high risk of contracting deadly preventable diseases that will significantly cut my lifespan short. Because bipolar disorder already affects lifespan in an incredibly negative way. On average, people with bipolar live anywhere from 10 to 15 years less. And a big mitigating factor in that is actually the high rate of people who take their own lives with bipolar. 20% of people with bipolar disorder successfully take their lives at some point. It's an incredibly tragic statistic, and I share that statistic in light of it being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men are disproportionately more likely to take their own lives. And of course, it matters for everybody. Mental health matters for both men and women alike. But I think it's important to have periods of time where we could really narrow in and focus on areas where it's more problematic, when there's more inequity and disparity. But I digress. I hope you'll join me on this journey as I continue to lose weight. As I've mentioned, I've averaged 14,000 steps per day these last 7 days. I believe I've been doing a stronger game in the kitchen. We'll have to ultimately see tomorrow. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, whether I do weekly updates or if I just update when I actually have significant progress to report. But I'll figure that out as things go along. I want to wish you all the best on your own respective weight loss journeys, your own respective mental health journeys, because it's important. It's important to be stable up there. It's important to be in good physical shape so that you feel good about yourself, so that you're healthy. And I know I'm not alone in this. I saw a statistic that 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese. In my case, I'm morbidly obese, so I'm the most extreme category you can be. But the way I see it is, by July of next year, 2027, I can look totally different. And if you're struggling, you can too. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Love, light, and tranquility to all.